Jay, start of a four-game road trip for your team tonight, and just a thought on, do you use sort of what occurred over the last couple home games as part of your artillery, or do you move the focus to, hey, we have a new opportunity to get started here now?
Well, I think we do have a new opportunity for sure. We've got a Washington Capitals team that works their tails off. They're going to push us in certain competitive ways tonight that we better be ready for. But in the end, we're looking for a response. We didn't like the game that we played. I use the term that we laid an egg on Saturday afternoon at home, and now it's our opportunity to respond with a good effort here versus, as I said, a very game Washington Capitals team.
You had a 724 points percentage as head coach last season. Do you think your team has gotten to the level that you guys were at down the stretch last year?
Well, I would say that this year's team, I like to keep it on this year's team. This year's team has not yet fired on all cylinders. We've had moments. In the 12 games that we've played this year, 11 of the 12 or 10 of the 12, in my opinion, have been one-goal hockey games. The Pittsburgh game we won at home and the one we lost to Dallas were not one-goal games. I think the games have been tight. But for me as a coach, what I look for is the detail in our game. And I don't believe that we're firing on all cylinders yet, and our details can improve. And, for me, as we move forward and move through our schedule here and begin this important road trip, that's what I'm looking for as a coach, is making sure the mindset's in the right spot and that our details improve.
Tonight is Connor's 500th game. You were there when Connor started his NHL career as an assistant. Can you maybe speak to his evolution of his as a player, but also, maybe his understated leadership abilities? He's not always the most demonstrative player on the ice.
Yeah, it feels like it's gone by fast. And what he's done and been able to accomplish in such a short time, I think is amazing. He's a generational player. He's someone that I don't think gets enough credit on the leadership side of things, because it's not, for Connor, it's not just about setting the example. It's about also holding the team to a certain standard and holding people accountable to that standard. And I think that's a lot of stuff that people don't get to see from behind the scenes, but I do. I've seen a young man mature over those 500 games. I've seen a player evolve and mature. And, he's a treat to be around and treat to watch operate on a day in, day out basis.
You were talking about Ovechkin yesterday. Still a top player. Crosby's still a top player. How do you think those guys have been able to do that for so long?
Well, I think usually people that have that type of longevity as a top player don't get enough credit for the work they put in away from the rink. So the shape that they pride themselves being in, the work that goes involved in evolving their game. I also began in the league when Ovechkin was in his rookie year, and I see someone who has adapted to the way the game's being played now, someone that displays leadership, someone that has a brand of physicality that's tough to match. So how do those guys achieve that longevity? They do it by working at an extremely high rate, and they're not afraid to evolve in their games. And as much as we're lucky here in Edmonton to have some of the people that we have and we get to watch on a daily basis, the people of Washington have been exposed to not only some good teams over the years, but the maturation of a true superstar.
On Connor, are there things more? Sorry, Derek. Are there things more that are in his game, or do you see him like almost trying to find new things to do? Because when you have a player who's playing at that high a level, you almost wonder kind of what more can he do.
Yeah, I've seen him at different stages in his career, like Bob was saying. I saw him as an assistant coach in navigating his way and finding his way in the National Hockey League. I saw him go through some adversity when the team didn't make the playoffs, and so I think there's two different things there. I think there is evolving his personal game, which I see 200-foot player. I see a lot of defensive details in his game. And I see someone who has adapted offensively. He doesn't just resort to doing the same thing day in, day out, year in, year out. He's someone who adapts and finds new ways. But from the leadership side of things, I see someone driven to win and is trying to do it the right way and set the standard and also help maintain the standard for the team. And, I think he's a very proud individual. He's, as I said, he's matured, just as going from an 18-year-old finding his way into the league to where he is now. But I think emotionally and mentally and leadership-wise, he's come a long way as well. So it's a credit to him and all the work that he puts in.
I just want to ask about Yamamoto. You had him skating on the fourth line yesterday. Does he just have to kind of keep finding his game, or where are you seeing him right now?
Who numbers the lines?
Oh, no. He was on a unit. It wasn't the top six.
You might know the lines, but I don't. I think we're looking. Obviously, we weren't happy with our team effort. It's not a one person or whatnot, and we shook the tree a little bit in yesterday's practice. We'll see how they roll out tonight. But you might number the lines. I don't.
I just go by whoever comes out first,
Oh,
second,
okay.
third, fourth.
I don't know if you usually answer this question, but do you want to tell us who your goalie is tonight?
Yeah, sure. Stuart Skinner is starting in net tonight for us. Yeah.
How impressed have you been with the stability that Stewie's provided in the early part of the season?
Yeah, I think he's, you talk about someone who's matured. I've seen his maturity over the last 4.5, 5 years here as someone who was drafted and developed by our organization. I think it's an organizational win when your scouts identify someone. He goes through the development process. He doesn't skip steps along the way, and then he's off to a good start in his true rookie year in the NHL. And I'm happy for him. I'm proud of him. But the NHL is a night in, night out basis, and we're going to need a good effort from him tonight.
The efforts that he has been providing, has that helped maybe earn him a little bit more trust as a young rookie coming into the league for you to start him in big games?
Well, you know what? The benefit for me with Stuart Skinner is I've seen him at every step along the way. He has been a part of a lot of wins that I've been a part of in the American League and now in the National Hockey League. So the trust word with Stuart Skinner is, that's implicit. I have that trust in Stu. His teammates have that trust in Stu. The organization has that trust in Stu. And that's come from him doing it right every step of the way.